had been in every possible wrong turn and U-turn and failure and kadha and ditch possible. So I know what it takes to get good sales. Why do you need to keep selling all the time? Why so high intensity? Why always speak to potential customers in person, online, on the phone? I just have to be high intensity at one point of time when I'm making the pitch. Scale the salesman is what I define marketing as. And Neville Medora, who is probably just few years older to me, Russell Brunson, who for the first time I understood what's a marketing funnel and how does it work.
Hey guys, मैं हूँ चैतन्य नवाथे, आपका होस्ट. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to season 3 of Above the Average. Season 3 is going to be similar to season 1 and 2. 10 episodes रहेंगे, 10 guests, 10 different careers and fields. The only difference is in-person podcasts. I'm really happy with it. सब shooting, editing, सब बहुत quickly and बहुत अच्छे से हुआ. But due to all of this being so quick and fast and everything, I have not been able to shoot any intros for every episode. So यही intro आपको हर बार दिखने वाला है. So अगर आप ये 7वीं, 8वीं, 10वीं बार देख रहे हो तो go, skip. Let's go into the episode. Hello all and welcome to this episode of Above the Average podcast season 3. Today is a special episode because with me I have my manager, Abhimanyu Singh. He was the head of marketing at Bima Garage, the company I used to work at.
Thank you, Chaitanya, for having me. I'm really excited to be here on your show. I've seen some of the previous episodes and they are super useful. My full name is Abhimanyu Singh and I am a solopreneur. My personal brand is called Pitch Better. It's about marketing services that are based on writing. So I'm a marketer and a writer.
So you said solopreneur. You have recently started your solopreneur journey. Could you tell us how did you enter the field of marketing firstly? I know that you were into sales before this. So what was that journey? How did you enter marketing?
Right. So I used to work in IT operations, and it's a very long and emotional story. But to give you the highlight of it for our audience, I was stuck up. I was not able to make sales at my IT company. It was not my role, but then the revenue had dried up. I had never sold anything in my life. I was scared of selling and I didn't even know the basics of how to approach somebody.
Sorry to interrupt. So you were in operations and you had to do sales, right? It happened.
I mean, this situation demanded it and I felt I had to.
Okay.
To put it that way. Nobody would have said anything to me if I didn't. Okay. Bottom line, I jumped in and I decided to teach myself how to write, how to convince somebody of the benefits of what I want them to do, how to do it offline, how to do it online. I learned through free online resources. Like I would follow some influential people online and I can share a list of all the people who I've learned from separately.
Please do. Even while we were working together, you had shared a lot of big names, marketing stalwarts and big names in the marketing industry that have helped me a lot. So please do. I'm sure the audience will be helped and will feel really value added from it. Yeah, sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So my real world marketing education boils down to these people who I've learned from by reading and looking at them online. To name a few, Dan Kennedy, who is one of the all-time greats. Neville Medora, who is probably just few years older to me. uh, Russell Brunson, who for the first time I understood what's a marketing funnel and how does it work. So I took all this information, I taught myself copywriting, and I built a marketing funnel start to end for the SaaS B2B product that I was working on back then. And it contained everything, right from a free offer to a lead magnet to a tripwire offer. All these terms were new. Tripwire is basically where you give something as a no-brainer. Do you want 10 secret tricks to become a millionaire for free? Download now. Most people can't say no to that. So but in exchange you get their email address into your database. So tripwire offers and low ticket offers, high ticket offers, and it's very similar to just telling a child, you want a toffee, and the next day they come, you want 2 toffees, you want 3, and finally they get addicted to you. So I was completely mind blown by this concept of copywriting and marketing funnels, and I built one by myself for our company. I drove traffic. I didn't know what was organic traffic back then, so I drove traffic to our funnel. I got the leads, inquiries, and these were big ticket offers, to the tune of maybe 25 lakh rupees to 30 lakh rupees. Okay. And the trial, I mean, the 1 year contract itself would be around 4 to 5 lakh rupees. So it was very difficult to figure it out. But then I started getting the leads. And once I got the leads and inquiries, I called them. I would do the demos. And I was so bad at selling. So bad that I remember once I spent 1.5 hours explaining to a product to a potential customer who wanted something other than what I had. And I was trying to convince the simple rule that if it's not for that customer, just politely say bye-bye and move on. But no, it was a related product and I was trying to convince. So I've started from there literally. But finally, I closed the first deal ever for, if I can remember back then, 16 lakh rupees on a multi-year deal.
Okay. Oh.
And that was it. Some experiences you have affect you on the outside, and some others just change you completely. I mean, you can't explain it. It consumes your entire thinking. And everything you do from that point on for the rest of your time and life takes a new lens altogether. Right? A new definition, your reference points are different, your expectations from yourself completely change. You know that if I can do this, then what else can I do? And it was so, awkward, scrappy, no grace at all. Really sloppy the way I did the whole thing. Just as if, it like a bullock cart pulling along. But from that point on, I knew that there's something here. Amidst this entire madness, there's a method. There's something that if I do it more, if I do it better, if I keep doing it better each time, it can completely change the game for me. And the feeling and the pull was so strong that the way it consumed me, the next thing I knew, I switched to a sales job. From after 8 years in IT, in operations, I switched into a sales job on a sales floor. Like how you see in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know, talking to customers, trying to reach your targets.
Like a BPO.
Like a BPO. I went from there to there.
Operations to directly calling.
Nobody goes from calling and sales to from operations to calling and sales. They go the other way around.
Yeah, actually.
And for whatever reason, this was an upgrade for me. And for very few other people, this would be an upgrade. So that was my move into sales. So this sales job, okay, my ego and confidence got completely crushed in the first 3 or 4 months, and the only reason my team leader didn't kick me out was because I was sincere, and even I didn't know why sincerity mattered in sales, because everything is numbers. But I was average. There were team members left, right, and center, you know, getting the sales, winning awards, and my numbers were average. In fact, I remember I had a 0 month, and that can be one of the most discouraging and depressing things for
Any salesperson.
any salesperson, or for I mean in any format or career, you can, zero result is horrible. And I did have that kind of month. My team leader told me, like, on a one-on-one, yeah, you're a great guy and all that, but then there's nothing I can do if something doesn't happen by the 30th. It was already the 10th.
Okay.
And that's when they say, in any salesperson knows this, that there's something called the law of averages. So it appeared like I was completely failing and the others were doing well, but everybody faces their lows. For me, it was the exact moment when my all my accumulated efforts kicked in. And all the relationships that I had built, those who were delaying, those who were not pulling the trigger, sitting on the fence type of customers, it all came together. And that month, the following month, between 10th and that 30th, I hit 54.85 lakh rupees in individual revenue.
Okay.
So that month I was the highest individual revenue earner in the entire company of 475 employees. And the second highest achiever was less than half of my revenue. And it was again that victory kind of, when the advance money came in for my that first sale that I spoke about.
Yeah.
And this was like something I had never experienced before. I'm standing in front of my entire company. There's an R&R rewards ceremony going on, and the founder is presenting me with an award, and I have it all like on video. I have the video of when I got the award. I have the video of all those sales that I made that led up to the record total. After each sale, we would stand as a team and start shouting, celebrate. Everyone would shout my name. So it's like a highly adrenaline charged experience. And this was the moment when I realized that, fine, you can crack it in sales. I know how it works end to end. I had been in every possible wrong turn and U-turn and failure and kadha and ditch possible. So I know what it takes to get good sales. But then with all this high energy, high octane, you it demands the best of you, and it's very difficult to do that for long periods of time. Everyone reaches their peak, if you're honest and you follow the right, if you do the basics well, you will peak at some point. But for me, I realized that I can't consistently be at this level. And that's when I thought, like, why do I need to be, just if you see it as an argument, okay, why do you need to keep selling all the time? Why so high intensity? Why always speak to potential customers in person, online, on the phone? Why can't it be that you're always pitching even when you're not? If I make a video, or if I make a landing page, or if I make content, my pitch is happening when I'm sleeping, when I'm going for an evening walk. It's happening morning, afternoon, noon, night. It doesn't matter if I'm at high intensity or no. I just have to be high intensity at one point of time when I'm making the pitch. So for me, this multiplying effect, this scaling effect, scale the salesman is what I define marketing as. And as you can see, a very logical sequence. It pulled me along the next wave of the slide. And again, I got sucked into marketing. It was not a career move. It was more like a force pulling me, and throughout it felt very natural to who I am as a person. I just love explaining complicated things in simple ways, and saying it while giving a lot of respect to the other person. That is my God-given strength. So somehow that it all came together, and I landed up in marketing. And that's a different journey, what happened once I got in marketing. But then from IT operations executive of 8+ years experience to marketing guy, who lot of people who I know today call me the marketing guy, and I'm just like 2 years in marketing. So it is flattering in a way that I can be seen as that.
The work pulled you and you went with the flow, but that flow was very strong. So now my question is, what did you do after that, after you joined marketing? Because marketing as a field in itself is very detailed and there's a lot of stuff. How did you manage to understand what you need to do next?
Okay, so to answer your question, a bit of context. I joined Bima Garage, which is an insurtech startup. So they do insurance services, B2B, B2C. It was developing its product market fit back then, and I needed to market it as part of my role. Now, I had a somewhat close relationship with the founders right from the start, and I personally reported to the CEO. So initially it was all about, like, I spent a month or so just talking, meeting different partners, potential companies who might want to take up our partnership or services. But I noticed that, there was no narrative. There was no logical and emotional pitch developed yet in the company. And I noticed this while talking to the people, to potential cold leads, customers. And I went back to the founders and I told them that this is missing. So I knew nothing about the day-to-day life and work of marketing back then, but I told them there's no narrative. It started with that. One of the reasons why I went deep into brand storytelling and things like that. And I said, we need this first. And you know how they say necessity is the mother of invention. So it's like a logical chain of thoughts. Okay, people don't do business with you because they don't know, like, and trust you. They don't know, like, and trust you because you have no backstory. You're just a transaction, no relationship. Now, to create the backstory, you need this in place. For this, if you want to tell this, okay, now I've come back and formed this brand story in my mind. But to tell people, you can't go knocking 1 million doors and telling people. You need a creative strategy. You need a channel strategy. You need to craft your message in a way that people remember it, not just understand it, right? So I came up with all of this in a very logical sequence just through common sense. It was much later on that when I read up about this and I spoke to leaders in the industry, that I realized that, okay, it was more of a validation that what I thought, what I did, what I'm doing, it's the right thing. I'm on track. But back then it was just applying myself.
Like problem solution.
Problem, okay, let's take an example. Okay, you're a businessman. Now, you don't have customers. What do? You get customers. You can't pay the salaries physically on your own. You get someone from HR. You start losing customers one particular month. You think about retention. Retention में क्या करना है? You need to make why are people leaving? Which kind of customers are leaving? Is there a pattern? What would you do to make them not want to leave? So what I'm trying to say is one question leads to the other, just first principles thinking, and that's how when you do that over time, consistently, you automatically become an expert at what you're doing. That is the only definition of expert. There's no such script or formula or book or something on that. And that was what led me to understand marketing from the ground up, without a formal kind of a laid out path or understanding.
So we can say that you learned marketing while applying it at Bima Garage. So like you applied it, you saw the problem, you found the solution, you saw the problem, found the solution, but your solutions were on the right track. And when you later went to the experts and you asked or saw what other experts are doing, you realized you were doing the right things.
Right, absolutely. So when I networked with some of the heads of marketing or CMOs, and I asked them these questions, and they gave me answers that were very similar to what I did. Okay. So my question would always be to myself, if the greatest genius marketer would be in my place, what would they do? And I would try and do that. And then I would go and literally ask them, and it's just that their situation was different, but their thinking, their approach, the way of solving the issue was the exact same thing. And that gave me even more of that, kick and love for what I do. That, oh my God, I'm not even like, nobody needed to tell me this, but I figured it out. So that was a really like a feeling of personal and professional high.
Yeah, nice. So you said you went to CMOs and experts. Now I want to dive into like the corporate blueprint of a marketing team. Now you have seen the startup world, but I'm sure throughout the 2 years of you working in marketing, you might have realized what it is like having a team of marketing. So could you help our audience understanding the structure of a marketing team in organizations and also compare it with agency and brands, like working at an agency and working at a brand?
Right. So the way I understood marketing teams is it was always about what do you need next, right? So if you're a business owner and you're just starting and you need people to help you out. Hiring is the next problem. You want customers, you get sales and get customers. Customers leave you, you need someone to handle customer retention, right? Now, let's say you want to retain customers and you've hired the guy or the girl. What do they need to do? Just through common sense. Do they need to find out which customers left, which types of customers? Do they need to find out how many customers left? Why did they leave? So when you ask, one question leads to the other, right? So this is something important, not just for marketing, but for anything. If you want to understand something deeply, just sit down and keep asking yourself those questions. And just by asking all these questions, I built the team, right? So how does this work? If each requirement, each problem, each solution fills up a particular role. Now, coming back to campaigns, right? If I want to explain something very simply to a person or an audience, I will make a post. So what kind of image would attract that person? If it's just a static image, if it's a video, what would I say? So that would require a graphic designer, maybe a video editor, maybe a copywriter to write what needs to be said, or the script for the video per se. So each of these roles started filling up. Now, once the creative is done, how do we distribute it? What channels do we use? How much money out of the total budget do we spend on each channel, right? The choice depends on the audience, the objectives, right? The style and delivery. So someone in channel strategy needs to look at that. So then there's another role over there, channel strategist, right? Because of this way of thinking, all the roles, right, from the creative to the channels to the data and reporting in terms of the results of whatever we did, the way the campaign is received by the audience, the metrics. So based on this, we filled up all the roles, and there are just these 7 or 8 roles in marketing. So if you I mean, these are universal. To take a message from somebody's a creative's brain out into the universe in front of the audience. Now, you mentioned corporate blueprint. There's no such thing as corporate or agency or whatever. These are just different arrangements of those same 7 or 8 roles, right? For example, there can be one brand which has all of these people in-house. There can be a corporate kind of a setup where I've mostly noticed that the brand and the strategy related roles are in the company, and the rest of it, the video production, the writing, the shooting, the channel strategy, the PR, these are all done by agencies. There are times when there are multiple agencies doing different projects at the same time, you know, for a particular brand. So these are different setups. You can have freelancers who work directly with the brand. You can have freelancers who work with an agency that works with the brand, so indirectly working for the brand. These are all kinds of configurations, you can call them. But the blueprint is essentially those roles, right? And how you organize it changes from industry to industry. If let's say I've mentioned 8 roles right now, it could be that one person does all 8 roles. It could be 16 people do 8 roles, right? 2 for each. It could be sometimes that all 8 of them belong to the company, which is the brand. Sometimes it's like in-house versus outsource. So brands can have 2 or 3 of these brand-oriented roles, and the remaining of the writing part, the video part, the channels part can be outsourced. There are people for there are entire companies that do just SEO. There are entire organizations that do just PR. So these are the different setups. So if you're navigating through your marketing career as a newcomer, fresher, but you would probably need to figure out what side of marketing do you want to join. Do you want to be in a brand? Do you want to be in an agency? Do you want to be in a freelancer? Do you want to be in the channel side, the media buying side? Do you want to be in the creative side? You need to figure out that first, or maybe try a few things and then figure what was the best out of all these for your specific career.
All right. So it's like a very dynamic, department, you can say. Marketing itself can have agencies, brands, all of that connected, working together, creating that campaign.
True.
Great. So now I would like to ask you, for someone who is new in this industry, in the marketing field, what is the future of marketing in your view? And like, will it change or will it be the same and new things will be added to it?
Right. So there's 80 or 90% of this field which will be the same even 200 years from today, right? These are timeless. For as long as human beings exist and they have the desire for more, marketing will be required and it will be done the same way. And why do I say this? Because I love to ask this question, when I talk to clients or brands. How happy are you with your income? Or if you have, say, lots of income, how happy are you with the ease with which you get that income, right? If there's a person who has a job which pays them 50 lakh rupees a year, which is quite high in terms of Indian standards, right? It's not so common. But if that's sucking up their entire day, right? If they're working 6 days a week and if they're reaching burnout. So I'm going to ask them, how happy are you with your income? Yes, very happy. But with the ease of which you're getting that, can you get it in lesser time? Can you do it? Can you work from wherever you want? Can you work from a shack on a beach and make that same amount of income, right? So, and the answer to this question on a scale of 10, let's say you ask them, how happy are you on a scale of 10? So, nobody, right? Unless you're into charity and you're self-actualized or something, nobody would say I'm 10 on 10 satisfied. Usually the answer is 6 or below. And you have follow-up questions like, why is it so? Do you think it can be higher? How long have you been thinking that you're not earning as much as you'd like to or you can? And invariably, right, in general, people are hardworking and over time they become great at what they do. But invariably the problem or the pain surfaces as I've not presented myself well enough. I do the same thing as XYZ celeb, but I've not packaged myself well enough, right? And or my company. And that is where marketing comes in. And the way you or I or an agency or any expert positions themselves, these roles, the copywriting, the messaging, the designing, the branding, the channels, the way we connect these 8 ingredients or the ratio in which we do it as a solution for the current situation where the person is in the income journey. How do you make it better, right? That is what will never go out of style and will never change. You're getting someone from point A to point B, moving them closer to their desires.
Like the fundamentals.
The fundamentals. You can do it through any different channel, you can do it through any technology, but the real reason why people ever go for marketing, or rather why they can't do without it after a point, is because of this need, and this will never go away, this will never change. And that's the reason I said, for as long as human beings exist, you have a chance to be highly paid and recognized as a marketer, provided you stick to the basics.
So, working as a marketer, there are various things that you need to do. And I'm sure over the years that you've worked, you've come across many challenges. So, as someone working in the marketing industry, what is a common challenge that we might face?
Right, so there are quite a few nuances, I wouldn't say challenges, but two things that have created a roadblock for me before. Number one is the idea that you want to showcase to a large audience. How do you put that in a format that creative people like writers, video editors, designers can work on, right? It's done through a process called the creative brief. Writing, being able to write and follow and read a creative brief is a highly sought after skill. You need to be a good thinker and a multidisciplinary kind of a professional to do it well. And this is a huge challenge, because if you have 10 people on your team and 2 or 3 of them are not there for a while, or you have new people replacing them, are you going to get everyone on the same page by repeating the idea every day? No, right? How do you get people on the same page across time and across changes in the team? And that's why it's so important to write the creative brief, and it actually comes out, you know, when you view it as a stranger, the final output, as an audience, you can sense the, you know, you have sometimes ads or content just hitting you like aha moments. That's because of the way it's orchestrated, you know, by the people behind the brand. For example, KFC, finger licking good. There's somebody who's sat behind the scenes and said, okay, I'm going to say finger licking good to get people interested. I'm not going to show the food, the making process, or I'm not going to show the chicken. I'm going to show Colonel Harlan Sanders as the face. So that these are conscious decisions taken by people over, at the back end over time, which finally create that magical output for the audience in the end.
All right. So I guess what we as newcomers into the industry should learn is being able to create that creative brief.
Right, absolutely. In fact, if you all want, I can share a format for a creative brief, which will save you hours and probably weeks in kind of learning and practicing it. It's a template. Use it, and your ability to showcase your understanding of such a format is something that will really impress recruiters, right? There's another challenge equally big, which is when you want to decide which channels, which Instagram, newspapers, billboards, how much budget do you allot to each channel, right, from the total budget? What do you focus on, what do you not, so there's this I'll share the link so that you can see the entire information in detail. But you would have heard of Peter Thiel, a famous entrepreneur from Silicon Valley, and he's the author of a famous book. I'm not able to remember, but I'll share it. He basically studied the multi-million-dollar top performing startups, and many of them, and he noticed a pattern in all of them. So in each of these startups, he noticed that 70% of their income, their revenue, was from one single channel,
Okay.
and the remaining 30% was distributed across different channels.
Okay.
So do you double down on one channel? Do you focus on something before moving to the rest? You can't do a little bit on every platform, or you'll land up with nothing. So who makes these decisions? You need a good channel strategist, and this is a second biggest challenge, because there's this greed and this FOMO that we need to be everywhere, right? And it makes it really difficult to measure the brand growth over time, or the performance growth over time, and what actually what has been the growth in the brand because of these efforts in marketing. So yeah, creative briefs and channel strategy, two most important challenges. It takes a bit of nuance to understand it and execute it properly, because nobody can tell you that you do X and you'll reach Y. It's all about gathering insights, gathering data, testing, and that's when you finally reach the objective.
All right. Please do share those links. I'll put them in the description of the YouTube video. If people are watching this or listening to this on Spotify, they can go to my Insta and find the links, or the YouTube video.
I will share the creative brief as well as the channel strategy frameworks with you all.
Yeah, definitely. And the book that you said from Peter Thiel.
Sure.
Yeah. So going ahead, I guess the next question that I want to ask you is, in the 2 years of your marketing journey, and plus the little bit of marketing experience you had before that, you might have networked a lot with a lot of people, and now we'll get to it, but you're also solopreneur, and I'm sure networking is a big part of your day-to-day work. So this question came from someone like from the audience, I'll say, because I did a survey and I got a few questions about different fields. So for marketing, it was like, how do we network properly, which will efficiently, or rather like be very effective for us? So how do you do it?
The most powerful way to network, which I'm not big on networking, but whenever I've done it, it has worked for me. And what I have done at each point is, I have shared everything that I know, be it with the team when we would work together, with anybody from my target audience who I meet. I just absorb the information in their brain and their problems like a sponge. I share any and every solution that I possibly can help them with. What we're doing right now on Above the Average is, I'm trying to share as much as possible so that someone from the audience can solve their problems and know their environment, their landscape in marketing better, maybe get a job, maybe build a brand, maybe start out on their own. So it depends, but the idea is, the thing with marketing is, let's say it again. The thing with networking is, it's not like I go network today and something good happens, I get an opportunity. No, it doesn't work that way. It's not one-to-one. You keep networking all the time, and then sometimes amazing opportunities will come to you. It's a non-stop process, and there's an indirect relation between your opportunities and how you've networked. There's no direct relation, but you need to do it all the time, wherever possible, and build relationships. keep the conversation going around the thing you do non-stop. Start a WhatsApp group with your friends in your community, in the place where you live. Start a WhatsApp group. Start a podcast like Chaitanya has done. Go on to your friends' podcast. Keep the conversation going. Let people's problems surface. Share your experiences, and you never know, tomorrow you have a problem connected with marketing. You'd rather work with me than with someone you don't know. So I'm networking right now.
Great. Another question that came from the survey was, how do you do marketing at a lower budget? And I feel like you can answer this very well and can be a really great segue into pitch better. We'll get to that. Why? Because you've worked at a startup, you've built the marketing team with a startup. Any startup you go to in its growing stages, the budgets for marketing are not as high. So there's always a question of how to do it effectively, cost efficiently. And I'm sure your clients at Pitch Better probably ask the same question. So how can someone do marketing but with cost efficiency?
Right. So the number one reason for wasteful budgets, wasteful marketing in terms of budgets is the lack of a clear goal. So when, be it big brands or startups, funded or unfunded startups, bootstrapped founders, the main idea is to define the problem. Do people want more top of the funnel results in terms of followers and engagement? Do they want mid funnel results in terms of subscriptions on their websites, newsletters? Do they want bottom funnel conversion kind of results, right? If you ask the average founder, they will say they want everything, but then you can't solve three different problems in one campaign. You'd rather have three different campaigns even if you're doing it at the same time for the different objectives, right? Ideally, just solve one problem at a time. So this is one reason why there are a lot of wasteful budgets. And like I said, there are three types. I mean, the way I see it, three categories: big brands, funded and unfunded startups, and then the absolute like bootstrapped founders who money is not an option. They just need to hustle. So for the people who have money, I would say solve the right problem. For the people who don't have money or who can't spend the money, I would always say share the knowledge you have and hustle around. Like, I believe in this principle of give the information for free, give the knowledge for free, and sell the implementation, right? So it's so easy for you to share your knowledge. Start a YouTube channel, start a podcast. Chaitanya has done it, I'm doing it. We are here sharing knowledge. He's bringing you his expertise, I'm bringing you mine, and you never know what you think is unimportant for you, or why would anybody want to know about this? They can go Google it and find out, but it's valuable. Like, for example, you want to you've learned how to swim by overcoming your fear of water, right? Who wants to know about it, you might think. But there are people out there, right? I may have learned swimming without any challenges, but that's not everybody. So there are people out there, and why would they pay me for it? People may pay you, or if they don't pay you, give it to them for free and use that as probably a lead magnet or an audience builder. Get people signed up for the thing that you actually charge money for or charge big money for. So there's nothing really that you're giving for free. You're giving information for free in exchange of for them joining your community, signing up on your newsletter. And when you do finally offer something for a fee, people like you and trust you already, so they are happy to pay you. So this is the best example of low budget marketing, or marketing for free, organic, whatever you call it. Keep spreading your knowledge, keep giving things to people that will make them want to pay you. And in that case, you don't need to spend so much of money, right?
Great. I think that's a perfect time to ask you about Pitch Better. So could you tell us what is Pitch Better?
Pitch Better is something that is very personal to me with respect to my beliefs. I have a strong conviction that the ability to attract opportunities of any individual is a great decider of how successful, peaceful, happy they finally are. And it simply means for any individual or a business owner or brand, the dream scenario is when people come to you and say, I'm ready to pay. Can you offer me this service or this help? Rather than you having to chase them, right? So Pitch Better is all about the entire purpose of marketing, wherein the transformation that I offer is to take a person or a brand from a place of having to chase income or chase opportunities to a point where opportunities come to them, right? Chase versus attract. Chase is equal to pain and attract is equal to pleasure.
Nice. That's also how you landed up in marketing, because you were in sales, you were calling everyone, and then you realized ki no, it's the pull that makes more sense than the push.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the final definition of success is in the pull, is in how many people come to you without you having to try, eventually at least.
Great. So could you help us with what exactly does Pitch Better offer to like your clients?
There are founders, there are brands, there are, if you look at something like Parle-G or Hindustan Unilever, you don't know who the founder is. Most people can't name them from the top of their head. But you look at some brands like Boat, right? You look at some brands like Cred, Kunal Shah. These are founder-led brands. A lot of the trust and the goodwill connected to making the purchases or doing transactions with them is connected with the persona of the founder. And what I offer at Pitch Better for such founders, founder-led brands, irrespective of what is their, income or current situation with respect to their income journey, is to share the founders and the brand's beliefs, their methods, their processes, their work, their experiences that the other customers, existing customers have already had, to share it on a constant basis at high volume, not one pitch and 10 follow-ups. It's like content. There's a strategy. It's a very systematic way of doing things. You pitch in 100 ways, you get it all ready, and then you publish it out to whatever platform you want. So it's not like one ad or one campaign or something like that. It's a constant, bombardment of pitches which include an emotional connect with the backstory. Why did this founder do this and start this brand, right? What were their low points? These are things that people actually resonate with at a deep level, and unconsciously it's a strong pull while actually doing the sales and converting. So through I'm more of a writing kind of a guy. I'm basically a writer, and like I said, I don't do video. I don't do, complicated forms of communication. For me, writing is very simple, and through simple text and images, I share the brand and the product and the founder story in a consistent way with their target audience.
All right. So, in all, you provide brand strategy and copywriting so that you can make your clients the next Nikhil Kamath or the next Kunal Shah.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. So, with your work with your clients, you might have seen many challenges or different problems that your clients face, founders or companies or brands. What is a common challenge that they all face that you can share with us?
The main roadblock is the two actually. The main one is the lack of clarity. Clients, CEOs, brands, they don't pay me for marketing, ironically. They pay me for perspectives, new perspectives, as well as clarity of what to do first, what to do second, what to do next. And like I mentioned, give the information for free and sell the implementation. You might think it's all free information, they'll go and implement it by themselves. What about my business? What about my growth? No, nobody does this in the business world where they give value upfront, and that's really valuable for the customer. They will, maybe not immediately, they will take their time, but they are going nowhere. They will take an about turn, and when it's time for them to take action, they will only think of one person, which is you. And for whatever reason, if they don't take up that particular problem, or they don't want to do marketing, you've still left them in a better position than what they were before they spoke to you. So they will always it's a compound effect. They'll recommend you somewhere else. You're only doing good for yourself. So this is what I believe. And give founders, give your customers, your clients clarity. That's the solution. This is always the problem with them with respect to marketing. How much to spend? Why should I spend that? Just tell them and give them an entire strategy just for free, and they will come to you for the implementation. The second challenge that they face is limiting beliefs.
All right.
They talk about themselves in a 10% manner. If their capacity is 100 horsepower, they talk about it in 10 horsepower. Why would you do that? Right? It's because what will people think? Is my message clear? Should I be saying this or should I be saying that? You need to overcome. It's easy to say. It takes me also a lot of effort to talk about myself, but then that's the only solution, right? And it shows when you sell something, when you do a campaign in marketing, the conviction shows. Like, it's a feeling that's transferred finally to the audience, and that feeling is never the same if you don't talk about yourself, or like while you're talking about yourself, you need to actually the tone needs to be as if you're shouting from the rooftops, right? So this is the second challenge. There's so many founders who take a few weeks to even, get comfortable with really, aggressively spreading their message.
Okay.
So it's, two major challenges: the lack of clarity, and when they do get the clarity, they take action, and it gives them that momentum to overcome the limiting beliefs. The entire world, or the marketing, would be very different if people just overcame their limiting beliefs.
All right. Great. With this Pitch Better, you have also created your personal brand. So I would like to ask you if you have any tips for someone who wants to create their personal brand, or someone like me maybe who has a podcast, or someone who is making a newsletter. What tip would you give them for creating a personal brand?
The first and foremost thing to know is that it takes time. And so many people, in fact, I've also just started, but so many people give up midway. They get super motivated and do things for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, and they leave it and do something else after that. Personal brand is about consistency. It doesn't matter how perfect you are, just show up, and the rewards are massive. Personally and professionally, it's really rewarding. That feeling when people come to do business with you because it's you and not a company, that is just, there's no explanation for how good that feels. And whether you're in a job or a business, or you shift your job, it doesn't matter. You will always have opportunities, right? So that's the power of personal branding. The only real tip is consistency, because my belief is if you're consistent enough, then sooner or later it will work for you. So it's difficult to put all my tips into one conversation. In fact, after my friends and people who I know at work came to know about my experiences, when I started talking about it, they asked me, how do I apply this to what I'm doing? I'm a bootstrap founder, or I'm an agency owner, I'm in B2B, or I'm with this brand, or I'm a freelancer. There were different kinds of people, and it was so, to make it very simple, I thought, let me collect my thoughts in one place, and that's when I started the Pitch Better newsletter. So the agenda is very simple. One tip, story, or framework to help you do excellent marketing for free. And this is in the form of micro articles that I deliver to your inbox every Saturday at 3 p.m. sharp if you sign up for the newsletter. And the entire idea is to simplify everything that's out there, right? If you're a student looking to be updated for your job interview, or for your projects, or for your debates in your college, or if you want to crack a promotion, if you want to start out on your own, or let's say you're talking to a lot of experts and you feel like you need more experience, or you're not as well informed to be in the room, this newsletter will give you everything you need. Everything that we spoke about, in the form of examples, in the form of actionables that you can read today in the morning and try out in the evening. It's all available to you. I just started it, and I'm putting more and more stuff out there. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Do sign up, and you'll have it in your inbox, on your smartphone, wherever you travel, any time of the day.
I am subscribed to the newsletter too, so I would suggest everyone else in the marketing domain wanting to make their mark to subscribe to it as well. That's it with the questions, but before we leave you, there is a game that I want to play with you. The game is very basic. I'll ask you a question in which you have to choose out of the two options, which one will you go for and why. So
Okay. I'm a bit weird when I speak on the spot, but what the hell?
All right, so I'll ask you, I'll give you two options. The first one is, what would you prefer, living in an apartment or living in a kind of a bungalow?
I've never lived in a bungalow, but I've heard that having 10 helpers is a lot of work, and a garden to maintain is a lot of work. So I would prefer an apartment.
All right. The second one is, if going for a trip, what would you prefer? A chill, relax trip going to a beach or something, or a trip in which you do adventure sports or some thrill?
I would prefer relaxing. Probably 5 years back, if you asked me this, I would have gone for adventure sports, but now it's all just to get away and relax.
All right. And the last one is, would you prefer to give a speech in front of a decent, big enough audience, like giving a very hard-hitting speech, or write an article about the same hard-hitting topic and post it online?
That's a difficult one because both are really tempting. But then I would prefer writing because writing gives me the confidence to go out and talk about the same thing.
Okay. So you'll write the article first and then you'll go and give a speech about it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for the game. Thank you so much for doing this episode with me.
Thank you, Chaitanya. It's been an absolute blast being on this show. And this is exactly what I love to do. Talk to people about what I'm good at, what they are doing, learn from them, share. And the entire philosophy of Above the Average has always been to curate the best information out there and share it with the people, something I truly believe in. So great stuff you're doing. By the way, Chaitanya, I know him personally. I've worked with him. He is super humble, understated, underrated. He speaks very less generally, but there's a lot of good stuff going on inside his head, and I've seen him grow in front of my eyes, right from being an intern to zero knowledge to unlearning what he already knew to now going to one of the topmost institutions in our country. I'm going to write an article in the Pitch Better newsletter about my observations and learnings from Chaitanya's journey, and you will see it soon. Sign up for the newsletter, and I'm documenting everything that I saw him learn and go through and finally succeed. He was at a point where he was chasing opportunities, and now he is at a point where the entire world will be at his feet and opportunities will come to him. So this resonates so well with the thought process of Pitch Better, and that's the reason I'm sharing this article. You'll see it soon. I share an article every Saturday at 3 p.m. weekly, one tip, framework or story that will help you do excellent marketing for free. Sign up for it and you'll see his article.
All right. Thank you so much for the kind words. It really means a lot. And yes, guys, please do check out his newsletter, subscribe to it. And if you've made it till the end of the episode, thank you, and subscribe to this channel too. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And thank you so much, guys, for watching the episode. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Oh, this is the outro. I thought intro shoot कर लिया है तो ये भी कर लेते हैं. But इधर तो कोई देख रहा है, like hello. अगर देख भी रहे हो तो वैल्यू एडेड जो भी था पॉडकास्ट हो गया है. You can leave. सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन, कम बैक फॉर द नेक्स्ट वन. बट अभी मैं बस टाइम वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, पता नहीं क्यों. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.